And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thomson. 100% agree. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
Well, you can see the Punk has got his little skull cap on. He's trying to act like a fighter, but he's retired. He ain't coming back. But god dang, it's almost the end of January, the last day. It is the 31st February. It was close to being here. And we got all kinds of things to talk about. There's all kinds of fight talk. There's all kinds of good things going on. And there's all kinds of people complaining about UFC 300. Who the hell complains about a fight card like that? I don't get it, Josh. People are weird.
People that are privileged.
Privileged. Got it.
Privileged.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what they do.
The ones that want, I want more.
Yeah. That's all they want. They just want more and more and more. They just want to keep getting handouts. They expect things like nonstop. But look, there's a lot to talk about already. John, there's so much to talk about.
A little bit.
What's on your mind? You look like you just a tear came to your eye. Right.
See, I'm just lucky to be home. How's that? Let's go with that.
It's been we had no fights last week.
No.
And so we did a Q&A last week. And there's been a lot to talk about. There's the fight game. There's a fight that's coming up this weekend. The UFC. What is it? It's not 235, is it? It's
Vegas
called something.
85.
No.
Vegas 85.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we call it Vegas 85.
The Apex.
The Apex. Vegas 85. So
see, it shouldn't be Vegas. It should be Apex 85 because that's what it is.
Right.
But as always, right before I start this conversation, I will say, hey, smash that button. Make sure you guys subscribe to us on our YouTube channels and our Clips channel. We like to release extra content, and that's what we've been doing lately. We've taken the news, and we're creating basically some more format for you guys, some more content for you guys, and we break it down a little bit more in depth on these. So don't think that all the news is going to be on our main show. That is not what we're doing anymore. We're not clustering it all together now. Because what happens is John and I we talk about the fight card, then we start getting into news, and sometimes we cut it short when we know it could go longer. So we're really taking time to make sure that we give a full breakdown of whatever the news is, whether it's about how people are complaining about UFC 300, which is going to be one of those clips, or, it's some of how the media is responding to the Sean Strickland stuff and some of the comments that I made that have been brought back to life that people are talking about. So I'd like to try to get into some of that. That will be another clip, plus some fight announcements and some other stuff that's going to be dropping this week. So make sure you guys hit that little bell, hit the little thumbs up for liking our content if you guys do. And if you don't, well then, hey, tough. We're going to keep doing it, keep loving what we're doing. And hopefully you guys continue to subscribe to us. We wouldn't be doing this, guys, if it wasn't for you guys. We enjoy you guys.
You shouldn't say that, though. You shouldn't say tough.
Tough.
If you don't like it, go to hell. All right,
wow.
let's go.
Wow. I try to be a little see, everyone thinks that I'm the mean one, that I'm the no. It's the old man status.
It's the old guy.
It's the old guy.
Yeah. Old guys are crotchety.
But make sure you guys subscribe. John, you want to get right into the fight card? Or Dave, is there anything you wanted to start with, or what's going on?
No, let's start with we'll start with the UFC fight card.
Okay.
Yep.
John, go ahead. Take it away, buddy.
That's all Dave has to say. I was trying to give Dave a platform there.
No, let's not.
To really, show some substance, show some style. Really put it out there like, hey, man, you know what? I know what I'm doing, and I'm going to build this up.
Have you not seen Dave and the way he dresses? There's no style involved with the way Dave dresses.
Plain Jane, I own it.
Plain Jane is correct. Jane is correct.
Tuck it between my legs and just.
All right,
too
now
much,
we know.
Too much.
Dave is a tucker.
You gave me the platform and I fucked
He's
up.
a tucker, man.
You gave me the platform. And I fucked up.
See, I'm glad I did. Look at what we've now learned.
What are we doing?
This is very important information.
What are we doing? See, this is why we don't let Dave talk. This is why, for the longest time.
Podcast Tucker Dave.
Tucker podcast. Tucker Dave. Good old nip and tuck Dave. Oh my God. All right, let's go ahead and start off with the main event. Let's go right away.
All right, we got the UFC Fight Night 85 from the Apex, basically is the way to call it. We got Roman Dolidze going up against Nasruddin Imavov. I mean, this is a great matchup when you look at it. Imavov, he's from I want to say he's Russian, but he's from France, and he's out of Fernandez's gym in Paris. He's just good. He's smooth, but we have seen people get to him, and when he gets a little frustrated, he doesn't fight the same way. And it's the one thing that I think Dolidze can do. He can frustrate him in this fight. He's got very good wrestling. It matches up with Nasruddin's. Nasruddin has got good wrestling. He's outstanding. He's got good stand-up. Dolidze's a little bit more of the grimy fighter, though. You're looking at Imavov is the more technical, clean, just flowing fighter, but Dolidze is a dog. I like Roman Dolidze. This is a really interesting matchup.
John, I'm taking Dolidze. I'm high on Dolidze, just how I was with Tom Aspinall. I believe that he may one day be champion if he can fight a little bit smarter with his fight IQ. Kind of
a little bit.
Learn to rein it in sometimes. Look, let it explode.
Learn when to relax.
Yes, too. That's the other thing. But when I look at the two of these guys, we talk about relaxation. Relaxation is something that will make you fight better throughout the fight. It'll make sure that your cardio stays intact. Imavov is somebody who, as the fight goes on, he slows down a lot. He slows down drastically. He is someone that, he puts out.
This is 5 rounds.
This is 5 rounds. He puts out a lot of effort. He puts out a lot of energy in the first 2 rounds, and is actually halfway through the second round, he starts to really slow down. He's a very talented fighter. He's very good. The strength factor, I think, is going to go to Dolidze. The power factor will probably go to Dolidze. The grappling, I think, will probably go to Imavov. Both fighters will be good on the feet. Dolidze, I think, is going to have a little bit more of he just has that body that kind of has that it's really, it looks like it hurts to get touched by him every single time, whether it's wrestling, whether it's being punched. He just has that body style that people, when they grab him, they're like, ugh.
It almost looks like it hurts to hit him because, man, he just takes shots and it's like, man, nothing. And that psychologically, that can be devastating. You have to be prepared to just say, just keep on touching. Just keep on touching. Well, the next one's going to hurt too.
You know what really surprised me, though, was Dolidze is the underdog.
Yeah, that's because, Imavov is the guy, if you're looking at him and saying technically,
yes,
the way he does things, his technique, man, he's smooth. He's good. Fernandez has done a phenomenal job of coaching him. He's got everything that you need. He really does. Yeah. You're looking at a guy to say, hey, is this a guy that could be champion? He could. Yep. He's got everything he needs. Can he put it all together at the time that he needs to against that quality opponent? And he's facing that quality opponent in Dolidze, no doubt about it. This is it. I always look and say, one guy's more the brawler. It's not that Dolidze doesn't have skills. He's got great wrestling. He's got heavy hands, but he's not as smooth in the way that he applies his craft as Imavov.
Yeah,
he's just not.
Dave, can you click on Imavov? Scroll down. When I look at who he's fought. So he fought no contest. Chris Curtis lost to Sean Strickland. No shame in that. Wakambuk
beat Buckley, beat Shabazian. Ian
Heinich. Look, I've lost to Phil Hawes.
That's you look and you go, that's what we were talking about. Phil Hawes, though. Yeah. He's got talent.
Oh yeah.
It's just that if he gets touched, it's not good. But man, he can fight.
Go back to Dolidze, please. And when I look at Dolidze, his loss was to Marvin Vettori and Trevin Giles. He's beaten Jack Hermanson. He's beaten Phil Hawes. He's beaten Kyle Dacus. He's beaten Staropoli. Look, that's what shocked me is he had a loss to Marvin Vettori, but right before that he beat Jack Hermanson. Nowhere in there was Imavov's opponents at the level of which Dolidze's are.
No, I would tell you right off the bat, I do think that other than Sean Strickland, most of Dolidze's opponents, you can even go back to when he was in the UFC, he fought a guy named Pasternak, Mikhail Pasternak, who is a tough fighter. and I think he knocked him out in it, but that was before he was ever even in the
You're
UFC.
talking about Imavov?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm talking about Dolidze. Dolidze fought Pasternak.
Okay, but you said Sean Strickland in his record.
No, I'm saying other than the fact that Imavov fought Sean Strickland,
okay,
Dolidze has fought a higher quality
yeah,
of opponents, I believe, so far, just throughout his career.
Mm-hmm.
But some of them are the same, like Haas. But one came away with a win and one came away with a loss. So,
but when I look at
MMA math,
Imavov, yeah, it never adds up. But Imavov, though, and Phil Haas is someone that he just has a way of sometimes doing great and then petering out, like we've seen. But Imavov, when he fought Sean Strickland, what did he succumb to? The pressure. It was the pressure. I mean, he had a great first round, second round, just
Where's Dolidze work out?
And does he? Oh, that's right. He's with
yes, he does.
He's with Eric Nixon.
Yep. It's because he works out at Extreme Couture. Who's one of his sparring partners?
Sean Strickland. So, which is another reason that surprised me that he is somebody that he's an underdog. I think if you take Dolidze and he puts that pressure and he has a little bit of that herky jerky style, and it looks like every time you hit him or kick him, it hurts you. I don't see how he loses this fight outside of a big mistake. I think he gets this win.
I mean, it's natural and normal when you see guys that have a smoother style compared to a guy that's a little bit more, you want to say herky jerky or whatever you want to say. Remember Keith Jardine, he fought everyone. He was an underdog to everyone. Mm-hmm. And it was because everyone looked at him and said, yeah, he's tough, but man, he's awkward. And he just does things weird. And odds makers looked at him and said, yeah, he's going to lose. And he always won.
Yeah.
So I always look at odds, and if it's close, okay, this is a close one.
Mm-hmm. It is close.
I would say that it's because that Imavov is the smoother fighter. He's the flashier fighter. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's why they have him as the favorite in it, but it's not by much.
Well, if that fight doesn't produce, I think the fight before this will definitely produce. I don't see this fight being a bad fight.
No.
So you've got Moicano versus Drew Dober.
I love this fight. I think this is going to be a fantastic fight. I love that Moicano is up at lightweight. Did a lot of his fights at featherweight? Yeah. I think he was just cutting too much. It was having an effect on him. He was slowing down at times. Watch him, as the lightweight. His stand up is clean. It's sharp. He throws beautiful techniques. He's got a great ground game. If he was going to have one area that you're going to say, okay, his biggest weakness is his pure wrestling, but he does have a good ground game where he can go to his back, but he doesn't want to stay there, especially with someone that's going to not really go after submissions with him, but try to punch a hole in his head like Drew Dober will. And so he cannot be on his back in this fight. He can't stay there. If he does get, put on his back by Dober, and Drew will do that at times just so he can ground and pound you, he's got to be looking for those moments to get back to his feet. He cannot stay there long because there's just a strength factor. Dober's got very strong hips. He's got strong legs. He has got power, and you can only take so many shots from him. But I think that this is a phenomenal matchup, and it's really going to come down to the stand-up. It really will. And that what does Dober do to take away some of the angles that Moicano likes to create? He comes straight up the middle a lot with his Muay Thai, but then he has a beautiful step out where he'll step with his back foot, turn that angle, and then attack, usually with a kick and punches. Dober's got to be ready for it. He's got to be looking for it, because if he allows that to happen multiple times in the fight, it's going to start to get away from him, because he's going to start to get broken down by Moicano. But this is an awesome fight. Yeah,
I think the height of Moicano is going to give him a little bit of a problem, whether that push kick up the middle, the knees, inside that clinch a little bit may give him a problem. Moicano's not too concerned about being taken down and put on his back. But where Moicano's got to be careful is, if I was to take one thing away from Moicano that I'd say, hey, he's got to be very careful in this fight, it's Drew Dober's ability to drop him or hurt him or knock him out. because Drew Dober has got some power in his hands, as we saw with Bobby Green. But on top of that, Moicano's chin has been tested multiple times. And so he's got to be cautious if Moicano does end up on his back, not to be settling there. He's got to be attacking the submissions or getting himself back up. He can't go chasing submissions that leave his body or his chin in the place to be ground and pounded out. He's got to make sure that he's got his defense available in those situations from his back position. I think that Moicano is somebody too on the feet. He doesn't get enough credit for his stand-up because it seems like against a lot of the top level guys, he's been put to sleep or he's been in a lot of trouble. But his stand-up is nothing to take for granted.
Nothing to put down, man.
He's got power.
Good.
He's got power. He's long. He knows how to use it. He just, I feel like Dober, if he touches his chin, potentially can get him out of there. Potentially.
Absolutely.
Submission-wise, I don't think Moicano is going to be able to get the submission, though, either, though.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I really doubt it. And I really don't think that the only type of submissions, if he's on his back, he better be using his legs to create the ability to control Dober, go for the triangles. That's all great and stuff, but you cannot be going for legs against him and allowing your head to be open there. He's going to punch your head into that canvas. And so you got to be smart about what you go for.
But a guy of that height, though, John, it's very difficult to try to lower your level to get a takedown. I don't see Moicano shooting double legs or trying to finish that. He may press him to the fence or get him close to the fence and try to elevate a single leg, using his height to his advantage to get the takedown.
I don't think so.
I just don't see him being able to get Drew Dober down or being able to control him from the top position. Anytime, I don't know if I'm sure you have, just grappling with someone who's a little ball of muscle. Got strong legs, strong back, strong arms, and that's exactly how Dober is built. Trying to hold people down that are built like that is it's damn near impossible. It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, because you have to commit both hands to putting them in a place to hold this guy, but you can't punch him.
Yeah.
You can't do anything. And so as soon as you release those hands, they're getting up. And it's like, So yeah, I agree with you. It's a great matchup, but I think the fight before it is also, it's a fun fight, a great matchup. Randy Brown, downtown Randy Brown against Muslim Salikhov. I like the Kung Fu Panda is what I call him because he's a Kung Fu. He says his style is Kung Fu. Salikhov is just fun to watch. A lot of spinning attacks, but Randy Brown is 6'3". Yep. He's got great stand-up, great movement. He needs to watch the leg kicks from Muslim and make sure that he doesn't absorb too many of those early in the fight.
Yeah, he had some problems in one of his fights, I believe. He started getting kicked in the leg a little bit, started having to switch stances and try to work from that. And he's fast. He's accurate with his strikes. He's so long. It's going to be hard for Salikhov to get to him. The spinning attacks will be something he's got to be very careful of because if he leaves himself out of position and overreaching, he could end up getting kicked to the head pretty easily. Even though he's tall, even though he's long, Salikhov gets that leg up there. For someone who's not as tall and long as Randy Brown, Salikhov is someone whose flexibility is definitely something you got to be cautious of. Those are the guys that you always think to yourself, you'll never get it up there. And next you know, that foot's touching your chin. And people have to keep in mind, when you are watching somebody who is really tall, they tend to get away with things in the gym that don't translate into the actual cage. Because what happens is in the gym, they learn how to lean back. They learn how to kind of take their hands away and try to lean back away from the combinations. But in a fight, you never know what your opponent can do. Just because you get away with it in a gym, because you've sparred with them and you've trained with them, you know that they can't get their leg up that high. You know they don't get it there that fast. With head kicks, John, I'm sure you've seen this multiple times. It doesn't have to be fast.
No.
It just needs to get there. It doesn't have to be hard, I should say. It just needs to get there. All you need is the toes to hit you across the chin, and you could be lights out.
Well, it's funny. I try to equate and tell people all the time to make them realize the difference of being punched or being kicked. And it's like, I always go and try to, it's like ballistics. A 22 is a gun and it's going to hurt if you get shot by it, but it doesn't hit you like a 50 caliber. And it's all based upon weight. Okay. Weight makes a difference. And the leg is a heavy instrument. So when it's coming and swinging around, it just carries all of that torque and that weight, creates power, and it puts you out. And there's just a big difference in them.
How do you see? I see, obviously, we kind of see how Randy Brown gets it done. He stays on the outside, sticks and moves, stays long, thigh kicks, push kicks up the middle, a couple head kicks in there as Salikhov's reaching, trying to keep him loyal to his defense, and just picks him apart. Hopefully he gets a clean shot. He's able to knock him out. Whereas Salikhov, he could try to take this fight to the ground in the mixture of trying to land the spinning kicks or the big shots and calf kicks and the leg kicks. If he gets started early on the calf kicks, I see the game starting to change for Randy Brown. His mobility won't be there. His lateral movement won't be there. His speed in which he throws things won't be there.
See, and if that lead kick to the leg starts to have an effect, Randy Brown's going to start to have problems based upon the style that Salikhov brings as far as all those spinning attacks. And he's fast with them.
Yeah.
He does a great job of hiding them, because a lot of times you see a guy starting to blade his body, starting to step around, and you can read it. He does a great job, and it's fast. It's quick. So not having the ability to use that leg to move his body in and out and around will cause Randy Brown a lot of problems. So he's got to take care of his legs early in the fight.
It's going to be a fun fight, though. I really feel like this card has a couple fights on here that when I look at them, like, people don't know these guys, or if they don't know these fights, this matchups are very interesting because Randy Brown is long, just like Moicano is long, having to deal with Drew Dover being shorter with power, great movement. Salikhov shorter with power, great movement. Very almost two fights that are the same.
Yeah, very close. Randy Brown being a guy who, when you're looking at it, fast, super fast. For the weight class and for what he does. Moicano, fast. They do things a little bit different. Randy does it with he uses, an angle, and Moicano likes that linear attack, that Muay Thai approach in the beginning. But both of them, they use their length well. Dober uses his strength and his ability to land big, heavy shots. So does Salikhov. Yeah. It's both of these fights I'm looking forward to.
All right, and the first female fight on the card?
You got Viviane Araujo against Natalia Silva.
Well, Araujo is going to have to use her jab, use her speed and her pressure with her kicks. If she uses that jab is a game changer for her. She keeps using that, sticking that jab in the face, using the speed. I think she's going to be able to cause some big problems for Silva.
She's physically strong, physically gifted. You just look at her and you go, God damn, man. She is athletic. She's fast. She's just got to believe in herself. That's really what I look at Araujo and I go, here's a fighter that has everything. And we've seen how many of these has everything they need to be really good, top notch, can fight with anyone. But up here, doesn't quite believe. We'll talk the talk, but when you see them in the cage, you can see they got some doubt.
It's crazy, right? When
can't have it.
It's weird. It's so weird to see fighters, not just fighters. I swear to see athletes that I've seen athletes at the professional level, NFL. I know a couple athletes that play in the NBA, and they constantly are almost looking for reassurance that they know what they're doing. And I'm like, you're in the NBA,
dude. Look at where you're at.
I could spend every single hour of my life and I wouldn't be in the fucking NBA. You know what I mean? Like you're just
not unless we put you on a rack.
Yeah, this is very true. By the way,
stretch you out there, baby.
Very true. You never know, man. I can shoot the rock. Come on, man. Give me some
shit.
I probably can't even get the ball from the 3-point line to the actual hoop. It's so damn far away. People don't realize how damn far that shit is.
It is far.
I probably have to run and jump just to get it there like a fucking 9-year-old. But look, Silva, she's got good boxing. She's got to keep her back off the fence. She can't allow Araujo to push her to her back to the fence, and she's got to just utilize her kicks, use spinning attacks, do all of these things that will keep her keep Araujo off balance. If she doesn't, and she just tries to fight a traditional style fight, I think that Araujo is just going to back her up with the jab, dictate the pace of the fight, use her strengths to her advantage. She is so fast, and her jab snaps out there so quick, and she hides it really well. She hides her power punches really well behind that jab. That's going to be a problem from the beginning. Right from the beginning if she gets started with that jab right away. Yeah. And the pressure. So
Silva definitely the game. If you're going to watch people who tend to get into that mind space of Araujo, they start to pressure her and make her fight off her back foot. Yeah. You want to do that. You want to do it from the start. If you're not putting her on that back foot and she's able to at least stand her ground or move forward, she's gaining confidence in that fight.
Next fight.
I can't.
Say it, Dion. Say it. Go ahead.
I got the last one because I know his brother. It's Khilzriev.
Okay.
But Salikhov Khilzriev taking on Mahmoud Muradov. That is, you look and you talk about all of the Russians and the Dagestans and everything. Well, here you go, baby. Let's face each other. Khilzriev is good.
Yeah.
He is really good. His brother is phenomenal, and so is he.
Mm-hmm.
So,
John, Khilzriev, vicious ground and pound.
Yeah.
A lot of his shots on the feet, though, tend to be a little bit loopy. Could leave himself open to get caught, but I take a look at his opponent and Muradov and somebody who is more wrestling based, a lot of control, will not open up the punches. He'll look for more control. He reminds me of a very young Khabib.
So who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Mamedov. Very similar in the way that he controls the fight. He wins fights, but it's many times you're going, he's not damaging. Mm-hmm. He's controlling the fight. He gets on top. They can't get rid of him. But with Khilzriev can get out of there, and he can make the fight happen. He can make him have to work hard, and this is a moment for everyone to see a guy in Khilzriev. He's good.
He's good. His brother's undefeated as well, I believe.
Yep. Both of them
undefeated. With Muradov, though, very control. The key will, he's someone that won't unlock his hands. He will try to sag on you, hang on you. He'll throw one shot, go right back to his grip. The reason why I say a young Khabib, because in the early days of Khabib, when he first came to AK and he first had his first couple fights in the UFC, it was a lot of takedowns, lifts, slams, control, sag you. He would open up a little bit here and there on the feet. He would open up. He knew he had to open up on the feet to close the distance, to get it on the double legs. He'd sometimes shoot raw dog and he'd get it and he wouldn't get it, but whatever it was. But Muradov reminds me a little bit of that. He will drive the double leg. He will try to get the takedown all the way to the bitter end, press you to the fence, lift and slam, scoop you out, all of those things. And I think that he's going to have a hard time against Khilzriev getting him to the ground. Khilzriev's got good takedown defense, but where Muradov can't afford to be is shooting a double leg or coming up short on the takedown and then pulling to his back. He's got to work himself back up to his feet, drive, break away without getting hit with big shots. Because, man, Khilzriev is a different level of ground and pound that I've seen in a long time. Time. Yeah, no. Give me some of your most all-time guys that had some of the most vicious ground and pound.
Oh my God, that's
King Mo was one of them for me in his younger days. King Mo
was very, very good with his ground. Obviously, Mark Coleman was the guy that started it off, but you were able to use your head, and he had a giant melon, so you headbutted the hell out of everyone. But Mark Coleman, you got to give him. He was the guy that was we named the Godfather of ground and pound because he used it to such an effect on people. But there are certain people that have just been dominant in their ability to utilize ground and pound, and it's I say it all the time. I mean, I've talked to you about it. It's a skill set that is underappreciated. It's a skill set that when you're watching people and they're really good at putting big shots on people, Tito Ortiz, you got to give him credit. If there was one thing he was really good at, was ground and pound, and he used the cage in a different way at the time to cram you in there, but he would always bring his head up to the level of your head and use big shots and not get beat on and just beat the piss out of you and stuff. So there's been some great guys
Fedor
in the past, but
Fedor was a monster.
When Fedor fought Heath Herring, the ground and pound that he put on Heath Herring in that fight was almost criminal.
Yeah, he looked like the Elephant Man when he left the ring.
Oh my God,
he looked horrible.
But it was Fedor had the ability, and this is where he took what Mark Coleman could do and then kicked it up a notch. Is Fedor would turn his hips. A lot of guys, they don't turn their hips when they're in guard on the ground and doing ground and pound. They keep their hips static, and they'll turn their upper body, but they're not turning their hips. And Fedor was the one that, man, he would jump to turn his hips to land with more power. And the class that he put on in that Heath Herring fight showed that he was levels above in his ability to hurt people in that position. But he got away from it too.
Yeah.
It's weird. You look and you go, a guy that was that good with it kind of got away from, from it, because knocking out people in stand-up so much easier.
Well, I think a lot of it is that before he was able to just hip toss people to the ground, and getting takedowns as you get older, it just doesn't matter if it's on the feet or on the ground. It's not as easy. The one takeaway the reason why I think that Fedor is probably the best at the ground and pound situation, obviously Mark Coleman being a different generation of headbutts and all the other stuff. But with Fedor, he was the guy that would hit you straight. He was the guy that would loop it around your guard after he'd hit you straight a couple times. He was also a guy when he did stand up, he would hit you straight to the body. And then as you crouched your body into like a crunch position, then he would come around looping shots around on the outside and land big shots. He would make you do things to set up his next shot. The other thing, other fighters, when they ground and pound, they do it with one arm. They do it with their dominant arm, right hand. They hit with the right hand and kind of either slap with the left, or they would not throw it at all. They would just basically fake it like they were going to throw it and then go back to throwing the right hand again. A lot of fighters are just one-sided dominant when it comes to their ground and pound. He was the first fighter I'd ever seen really go aggressive on both sides, being able to ground and pound both sides. And like you said, turning the hip and being so dominant with it. Just so he would change the outcome of a fight. He would change, not outcome, but he would change how the direction of the fight was going. That fighter thought they had a chance on the ground. No chance. His fights against Nogueira.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Nogueira thought for sure this fight's on the ground. He's going to hang out here. And I think all of us sitting there watching, what is he doing? Get out of there. Get out of there.
Why is he in Nogueira's guard?
Why?
Don't do that. It's dangerous.
Do that. Why would you do that to yourself?
Beat him to a pulp.
Yeah. Yep. Both times. Yep. it was brutal. And I look at him as probably being the number one guy in the ground and pound, because he changed the way that it was done, actually hitting to the body, hitting around the guard, and then trying to split the guard as well. But setting one up to do one thing, he'd hit straight to the face, then you'd guard up. Then he'd hit you to the gut because you couldn't see it, and then you drop your hands and kind of still try to shell up in the front, and then he'd come around the sides, and then you'd open it back up to try to protect your side face, and he'd come right through the middle again and then go back to the gut. It was just nasty watching him get it done, and he did it so well, man. It was a pleasure watching him. I miss those days, to be honest. The Pride days were the best. Vochenchin was another guy. Remember Igor Vochenchin was another guy.
Igor Vochenchin?
Yeah, he had some good ground and pound too. He was vicious.
He did have good ground and pound.
Yeah.
You talk about it, a guy who was 5'8",
9'8", yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
tree trunk legs.
Tree and giant bowling balls for hands.
Yeah.
Dude, he could swat. He was a nice guy.
His fucking legs were probably the size of my body. And he was 5'8".
Dude, for a while, man, you go back and you look at all of the 3, fights to 4 fights in a night that guy was in tournaments that had you fighting that much and him winning.
Yeah.
He fought a guy, I don't know if you remember who Nick Nutter was.
No.
Nick Nutter was from Ohio State wrestled with Mark Coleman. Okay. And there was a tournament, I believe it was in Israel, and Vochenchin and Nutter ended up in the final. And Nutter was, just out wrestling everyone. And Vochenchin lit him up with an uppercut and a knee in the first minute. Gone, done.
Yeah.
You look and you go, right?
If you guys don't know who Vochenchin is, what you got to do is just take an idea, look at Ray Bruddock Cooper III. his body style kind of
white.
Yeah, make him white and give him a little bit, I wouldn't say more athleticism, but a little bit more pep in his step. Whereas, Ray, he's not as mobile on the feet. Like Vocinchin he'd still move a little bit left and right, a little bounce in his step and let big shots go.
Very explosive.
Very, very explosive. So he was, give you guys a little walk through history right there. That was a history lesson for you guys.
Remember him against Paul Varlins?
Yes.
That long ago?
Paul Varlins, San Jose State University football.
Paul Varlins, all 6'8", 6'9" of him, man.
Yep.
400 pounds. Didn't stand a chance against Josh. I felt bad.
Small little 5'8" guy just putting the beating. He was probably taller than 5'8", was he?
No, he wasn't.
I never met him, so I don't know. I never met him.
I was really surprised when I was like, damn.
You're fighting at heavyweight? What the fuck?
Yeah, it's like, Jesus.
Yeah, just
all you had to do is like skip a meal, dude. He was thick though. He had big legs.
Yeah, it's a big power. All right, next fight.
All right. We have Gilbert Urbina taking on Charlie Radtke. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you what, Gilbert Urbina is very talented, fun to watch, makes some mistakes because he's young and stuff. And Charlie Radtke, it's the same thing. These guys match up very well. Both have good stand-up, both have decent ground games. Mm-hmm. Urbina is a little bit more dynamic, I think, than Radtke in the way he goes about it, but this is a really fun. This is a good fight. I like this one.
Is Urbina the one that came in on like last minute notice for a fight?
I don't know if he did.
I thought he came in on a last minute notice against somebody. Who was it? Maybe I don't know. Yeah, I think against Brian Battle. He came in on a last minute notice and he was doing well, and then he got tired, I believe.
No, I thought the fight against Brian Battle was for the. I want to say that was for the Tough. Yeah, he was in the finals. But
did he make it to the finals, or did he come in as a replacement in the finals?
He might have come as a replacement.
Got it.
That's possible.
Got it. I think it was because maybe I'm mixing him up with somebody else. Anyways, Urbina though, aggressive on the feet. He really aggressive. Just try not to be too aggressive to where you start slowing down. I think his weakness is his grappling. He's got to be careful, but he's got good power with his straight punches. If he can throw straight punches, get there, get first, I think he's got a good chance of beating Radtke. But Radtke's a good grappler. He's got decent chokes. Likes to attack the guillotine, can get to the back. He's good kind of all the way around. And he's also got a higher level of competition. He's fought guys like Montalvo,
no doubt
right?
About it.
He fought Justin Montalvo, who's a pretty good fighter. And I look at Radtke as being someone that if this fight is able to get to the ground, he's got a good chance of beating Urbina. One on the feet.
Go
ahead.
Tristan Gore was supposed to be in the finals against Brian Battle.
Got it.
And he got hurt.
Was it Urbina or Radtke that was the substitute? Urbina was the substitute. Okay.
Was the substitute.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe I don't have as bad a CT as I thought.
It's the beanie.
It's the beanie. It's keeping it all in there. It's not letting all the hot air get out.
All right, we got Meatball.
Mm-hmm.
Meatball Molly McCann taking on Diana Belbita.
Mm-hmm. Belbita.
Belbita.
Look, this is Molly's fight to lose. I think Molly, all around, just overly aggressive, should just be able to walk her down and put some big shots on her. Belbita, she looks the part, but when she gets in there, very stiff. Not as fast as she could be. I don't think she can be able to handle the bulliness of Molly McCann.
Spinning back elbows.
I just think Belbita, like, she's got it. She's just too stiff. You can see everything coming. It doesn't come out with relaxation. It comes out very stiff, John. It's like jab, right hand, jab. It's not, there's no flow to it. And Molly, she doesn't fight the smartest, but she's always fun to watch.
It is a problem because you take a look with Molly, and some of the time she ends up putting herself into bad positions off of a mistake. She's got to slow down, let the fight come. Every time she lets the fight start to unfold in front of her, she does good. Mm-hmm. She starts to feel comfortable, and all of a sudden she's out there flowing. And there's only one way you get spinning backhands and spinning back elbows as knockouts. It's because you're flowing in the fight and you're having fun.
Yep.
And that's what she has to do.
This is very true. Because if you let the fight develop, like you were saying in front of you, I think that it's you see it as it starts to happen, and you start thinking to yourself, "Oh, I've seen this position before. Just throw it." Seen it multiple times.
I see your setup. I see your foot. You know, it's all those things that once you have that comfort factor, the fight becomes way easier.
Yeah. John, any other fights on here that you want to chat about?
I'm looking right now as I go down the list.
I like watching Charles Johnson. Very explosive, very fast.
Yeah.
You know,
good athlete.
He's fun to watch. Zhang Young Lee, very fun as well. Very hittable though. Blake Builder, very talented, very good. I think that Builder is going to be someone that can push Young Lee around the cage, because Young Lee is someone that he looks, John, when someone looks so technically sound, but defensively they are not. And that's exactly where I see Young Lee, is that Lee is just someone who he looks great on the feet. Like he looks like, if I was to say, hey, this is how I want you to look as a kickboxer or a fighter.
I want you to throw this 3-punch combo with the kick finishing. Here's what I want you to do. That's the guy you go, here, show him. Yeah. You bring your top talent out, right? To demonstrate a move. That's him. But then he does get hit a lot. He does get hit with some big shots. He's a very good fighter, very tough to take down. He's fun to watch because he does get hit. He will exchange with you. He'll exchange.
And Blake Builder being, I think he's 8-9-1, I believe he is. But definitely a talented fighter, someone who will put a lot of pressure and try and get after it. Click on Blake Builder, though. Let me see his list of fights. His one loss came recently to Kyle Nelson. Whereas Lee has fought the better competition. But we're gonna see, man. Builder still 8-1, 9-1, I think 8-1-1. So it should be I think it's gonna end up being a good fight. We'll see what happens.
That should be a good one. You also have I think Langdon Quinones going up against Markel Medeiros. Landon is a guy coming off of the Tough series. He's actually got talent. The kid can fight. He just has to fight smart and believe in himself. And we'll see if he has that. When he was on the show, didn't fight smart. Then he came out. He had a good fight for a little bit. Wasn't able to get the best of it. But Medeiros is a good quality fighter. It's good competition, but that should actually be a well-contested fight.
7-2-1 is Quinones, and versus Medeiros is 8-1. So, yeah, I mean, they're evenly matched. All right, well, hey, that's going to wrap up our UFC Vegas. What is it, 85?
85 from the Apex.
And we have a Bellator fight announcement. It's going to happen, Bellator PFL, but it'll happen at Bellator in Belfast, March 22nd. Great fight, man. Corey Anderson versus Carl Moore. Carl Moore, John, big hitter. Strong man. Seems like a very strong man. But Corey Anderson, just technically all the way around, is a very good fighter. He's gotten better with his stand-up, got better with the kicks. Obviously, I don't have to say anything about his wrestling. And how could we forget Mr. Ground and Pound? He's got vicious ground and pound, man. So how do you see this fight going?
I look at this fight, and I like Carl Moore. He's a good, solid fighter, tough, got power in his hands.
I hear a butt.
Cannot come close to out wrestling Corey Anderson. And this is the difference. People can say what they want. When Corey was fighting in the UFC, there came a point when Corey was a wrestler, and he was coming off of the Tough show. He won the Tough. He was a phenomenal wrestler. I mean, and he had a gas tank, and that was the thing that you looked at him. You go, dude, this guy doesn't get tired. And he started getting this whole thing about you're boring, and he tried to appease people and go with I'm going to stand and knock him. His stand up got way better, but you got to go with what made you, and that's the one thing that I will say with Corey for the most part. Coming back when he went to Bellator, he has gone back to using his wrestling. He wasn't able to get it done in his one loss there against Nemkov, where I think 15 takedown attempts. He didn't get one. And that was after the first fight that he was very successful in getting Nemkov, but it ended up as a draw based upon a clash of heads with a cut. But the big difference you're going to see here, Corey Anderson will wrestle now. He will stand up with him. They can both bang. Carl Moore could put one on his chin that could put him out. But as soon as this fight hits the mat, look out. Carl Moore is in deep trouble. He better get himself back to his feet because Corey Anderson is going to ground and pound him. And we're talking about guys that are good at ground and pound. I forgot about Mr. Corey Anderson. He is good at it.
John, this is for the vacant lightweight heavyweight championship. This is going to be 5 rounds.
Ooh.
This is not good for Carl Moore.
No. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah,
didn't even notice
Carl Moore in his last fight was exhausted going into the 3rd round.
Yeah, that's because Nemkov vacated the title to go to heavyweight.
Yes. So Nemkov vacates. Corey Anderson's fighting for the vacant light heavyweight championship against Carl Moore. Carl Moore looked great in his last fight. In the first round and a half. Got exhausted going into the 3rd round. Was so tired, was able to gut it out, but that ending was not that fight in the 3rd round was not something.
If you recall, when he had the fight against Carl Albrechtsen, they both, he got tired. In the end, he got it done, but he got tired.
That was the Chicago card, correct?
Oh no, I want to say Albrechtsen. He fought him in Ireland.
Okay, there was another fight. I thought that he had fought him in. I thought he had seen one of his fights. Where was it? I thought there was one in Chicago. His fight against Alex Polizzi was in Chicago. Nemkov Romero, or was that in?
Yeah, no, that was in Chicago.
That was Chicago, right? Yeah, that was the one that I saw, and he was exhausted going into that 3rd round. Now, Polizzi is a dog.
I said, the one against Albrechtsen, that was in Dublin.
Dublin. Yeah. That's correct, yeah. But when I see that fight, and Carl Albrechtsen is someone he's tough, man. He's fought over in Dream. He fought in was it Ryzen or Dream?
No, he fought in Ryzen.
He fought in Ryzen, but then he also came over to Bellator. He's had some great fights, in Bellator as well. He's a dog as well. He's someone, but Alex Polizzi made Carl Moore, even though he got the win over Alex Polizzi, but he made him tired. He made him exhausted, and it was a bad look going into this title fight. So when I look at it, I'm like, man, you better fix that cardio because one thing Corey Anderson has outside of his ground and pound is conditioning for days.
Oh, yeah.
So
he does not get tired.
No, he doesn't. He will sometimes slow down a little bit, but it's only to get his 2nd win or his 3rd or his 4th. But he'll come through. Like he's someone that will be pushing the action, especially in that 5th round if he gets to the 5th round. So overall, though, that's a good fight.
That's why they call him overtime.
He
doesn't mind going into overtime.
He's a great guy, man. I really enjoyed working with him at the desk when we did Bellator events. He'd come in. He's a phenomenal person.
He's got a great personality. He's funny. He can laugh at himself. He definitely likes to make fun of everybody else.
Yes. Yeah, he tried to make fun of me at the desk. I've had to get up and almost, ground and pound on myself.
Let him know
who the boss is.
You have no idea what this 155 pounds will do.
I wish I was 155. My fat ass. I'm all the way up to like 180 now. Jeez, dude.
Woo!
Damn, it's heavy. It's heavy. Dave, you got anything else for us, man? Anything we can maybe wrap on for? But before we move on, you guys go to onlyfans.com/weighing-in, onlyfans.com/weighing-in. Subscribe to us over there. It is free. I'll be doing it live tomorrow, doing a Q&A. Let's just aim for, John and I got some work to do tomorrow during the day, but I will probably aim for sometime in the later afternoon. I would say probably about 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3. Let's say 2 o'clock. All right, sorry, 2 o'clock Central Time.
3 o'clock Central?
2 o'clock Central Time. I will aim to be on our OnlyFans account for a live Q&A. Do you guys have any questions? I'm going to talk quite a bit. We can hash some things out. Whatever you guys want to ask me, I'll be available for you guys to ask. Subscribe to us over there tomorrow at 2 o'clock, which is actually not tomorrow. It's actually today because this show will drop this morning. It'll be today at 2 o'clock Central Time. Subscribe to us over there. I will be doing a Q&A on that platform. So hopefully we'll see you guys then. Dave, anything else? That's it?
That's it. So the only other story was we were going to put in a separate video was the the annex stuff with your tweets.
Okay.
Oh no, let's talk
Do you
about
want to put that here, or do you want to take?
No, we're gonna make that a separate clip. There's a lot to talk.
No, let's talk about that.
No, John, you're ruining what we're doing here, John. You're ruining what we're doing. I thought there was another fight announcement that I had put out onto you on the news.
No, I searched.
Did you? Let me see.
3 fight announcements. Yeah.
No, on our news thing. That's
Yeah,
why
wait,
it would be here. It would be
I did get some feedback as far as on X, as far as people being upset that I said Kayla going to the UFC.
Yeah, you know what?
A good thing.
Is that a separate thing you want to talk about, or you want to talk about that right now?
That right now. I'm talking about that right now.
Let's have that conversation.
Did I not say good for her? Did I not say, hey, I understand why she wants to go to the UFC? Mm-hmm. Did I not say it is a good thing for her? Mm-hmm. But did I also say that the best matchups for her, as far as the toughest fights, right now are outside of the UFC? Is that a wrong statement?
So yes and no.
Okay.
Let me just clarify. Let me clarify what I said and what you just said is the same thing. We said something very similar. Let's start off this. Let's preface this whole thing by saying John and I have said for I don't know how many years, if you are someone in Bellator, you're someone in the UFC, you guys are looking to leave, okay, go where the money is.
Always.
So I can't knock her if she went for the more money. Now, given my experience and John's overall experience as well, I think talking with fighters, talking with managers.
Hard for me to believe.
Yes. Now, it's hard for me to believe that she got paid more than she was going to get paid at the PFL.
Yes.
That being said, and not to get paid as much, but also to have to cut the extra 10 pounds. So I do believe that she will get paid more if, and I think this is the only reason why she left, is that Amanda Nunes is coming back. Because that is the fight. There's no other fight that you...
But hold on. At this moment,
yes.
Where's Amanda Nunes?
Retired.
Boom.
But John, this is my thing, is I really believe that is the fight. Why would she fight Chris Cyborg? And I'm not knocking Chris at all. When I could fight the person who beat Chris Cyborg and say that I am the best female that's walked the face of the earth. I know she's lost to Larissa Pacheco, but you know what? Amanda's got losses. Cyborg's got losses. Cable's chalk it up as, look, she's beat Larissa twice. The third time it didn't go her way. I wasn't as motivated, whatever it is. I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. Obviously, she deserves that. 2-time Olympic gold medalist in judo. She's a professional to the core. I'm going to give Kayla Harrison the benefit of the doubt. I think her going to fight Holly Holm, it makes perfect sense. It's a very winnable fight. I'm not throwing you to the wolves. I'm also giving you somebody, I'm having you fight on the biggest card of the year, if not the biggest card in the last 6-7 years, since UFC 200. I'm giving you that opportunity to build your name and have a great performance. But all I'm asking you to do is to make 135. I'm not going to pay you. John,
I'm asking you to do?
They've got rid of that division. Now, that's why I'm trying to point this out. I believe that she would have never have left if the opportunity to fight Amanda Nunes wasn't there. Because she can put all the naysayers to rest if she beats Holly Holm and then she says, I came to fight Amanda because Amanda's saying that she's going to come back, or there was talk that Amanda was going to come back, and that's the deal that I signed for. I signed to fight Amanda Nunes, who beat Chris Cyborg. It all makes sense.
Okay, but how is she going to perform at 135 pounds? Is it going to be what beats her? Not the opponent, but the actual weight cut. Is it going to be that she goes out there and in 2 minutes, all of a sudden, she can't move? She's got no energy. She can't hardly pick up her arms. Her legs feel like lead, all based upon her body is so depleted that she cannot perform at 135 pounds. And I'm not saying, it's going to be 136 is what she'll weigh in at, but hopefully it's already come out. Holly Holm's already talking about it. Hey, be professional. You signed the contract. Yep. I expect you to make the weight. And here's my biggest problem with it. time-wise, I think you're the one that said, I think she's looked at this and kind of, jumped everybody on this and has been working at it. You could see that after the picture with her and Dustin Poirier.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you're right. You could kind of see she was looking slimmer as she was not even getting ready for a fight, supposedly. And so she obviously jumped on it right away. But we've never seen her fight anywhere near 135, 145. And 10 pounds can be a huge difference. When you reach that point that is your breaking point, man, to get past it is just murder.
5-6 pounds can be a breaking point, John.
Oh, 2 pounds can be a breaking point. And that's where I've seen her fight at the 146 pounds. I've seen it. Okay. I know she can do it. 135, man, dude, I just worry about the weight, and I can be totally off. But what I'm saying with this is, I totally understand why Kayla would want to say, I'm going to the UFC. I want to fight, especially if she knows Amanda's coming back. And especially if she's been told, hey, if Amanda comes back, you get her. Okay. I totally understand it. It makes sense. Okay. But the 135 pounds, I'm not too sure makes sense. And I worry about her health.
No, I agree. I would agree with you on that aspect. Look, I just don't want, I wanted to address this conversation because I think people thought, oh, you guys are so biased. You guys continue to talk about the Bellator. Like, what if they did this and that? Look, my point was, I wish her nothing but the best. I also look at it from a fighter's perspective. I look at it from a promoter's perspective. I look at it from all different angles. Whereas fans, they just look at it from their perspective, from your couch. That's where you look at it, and that's where you see fights. You see fights, whereas I know fights. And I'm not trying to take a jab at our fans and listeners. I'm not doing that. What I'm simply saying is, I've weighed this whole thing out multiple times in my head. Why would she leave, knowing what we know? Okay, I'm not just speaking out my ass. I know what she was offered to stay, and that's the thing. I'm not making shit up. Like, I'm really just telling you, I know what she was offered to stay. And I don't believe that the UFC beat that or matched it. I think that they came in a little lower to fight Holly Holm. Now, I think they came in a lot higher. Not a lot. I shouldn't say a lot, but they came in enough for her to fight Amanda Nunes. I think Amanda has made it clear that she's dating, or not dating, but she's flirting with the issue. She's flirting, not dating, but she's flirting with the idea of coming back. And if that,
but okay, all right, but hold on. So if you're Amanda Nunes and you come back, who are you fighting?
You're fighting Kayla Harrison. That's the biggest fight.
Bullshit. How are you not fighting Raquel Pennington? How are you not going and saying, oh, no, I'm getting the belt back?
Okay. Well, let me ask you this, though. I think what you do is you have Kayla fight Raquel then for the title. I think there's going to be some time in there. I don't know how that all, like, that's the other thing is I don't know how this all pans out.
Where's Juliana Pena?
She's not in the mix right now. I honestly believe they're going to give her the shaft.
You think so?
I think they're going to give her the shaft.
Wow.
Yeah, I think right now they're going to give her the shaft. I think that she's injured. I don't know when. I don't know if they know when she's going to be back.
Hold on. Let me ask you this: Do you not think that Juliana Pena actually throws some fire into that division with her talk and the way she?
Absolutely. I think she's
off.
But I also think right now that they would rather have Kayla fight Amanda than have Juliana fight Amanda.
I agree. I agree with you. No doubt about it.
The best thing that we can do for Kayla Harrison is she's got to get past Holly. And we keep talking like as if that's just a gimme. I'm sorry, but realistically, we saw
at 135.
And I know it was years ago. At 135, we don't know which Kayla Harrison we're going to get. That's one. Two is Holly may be slowing down, but she is leaps and bounds a better kickboxer and a better boxer than Kayla Harrison.
Oh, yeah.
And not to mention, she was able to turn Cyborg to the fence and pressure her to the fence. She has made adjustments, Holly Holm has, and how she approaches her fight game. She pushes you to the fence. She knees and elbows. She tries to fight you in the clinch. She makes it a little grimy. And, and she does break away. She breaks away with a jab in the face or touches you, whatever it is, or a kick to the head so you stay loyal so you can't take her down. She knows exactly how to fight. One thing that Holly Holm is, her fight IQ is probably the best in the game, especially when she was younger and able to utilize all of her tools. So this is going to be a dangerous, dangerous fight for Kayla Harrison, just because of the feet aspect and the speed maybe not there anymore, but the mobility, the lateral movement, the fight IQ of Holly Holm is going to give Kayla some problems, especially as the fight goes on and she gets a little tired.
She's going to get tired at 135. Just worry about that. Dude, that weight is so...
It is.
We're talking about, just think about this. How many times have you seen great fighters go down in weight and it kills them?
Every single time. Almost every single time.
This is from her norm. It's a 2 weight class drop.
Yeah.
And again, now I'm not saying she has fought once in Invicta at 145.
I thought twice. I thought she had 145 pound fight in the PFL also, just one time.
Did she?
I believe so.
Was that the one against Aspen Ladd?
No, I don't think so. I think that was at 55. I thought it was probably a year ago. There was one there in between one of her contract negotiations. I believe she came back and fought one fight at 145.
Dave, look that up real quick.
Yeah.
Let me see Kayla Harrison's. I'm not too sure. I know she had the one in Invicta, and then I would have thought possibly the one against Aspen Ladd. Hold on.
There's Invicta right there, Courtney King.
Okay, but where's another one? Is there not another one?
Hold on. No.
It's all PFL.
Those were all right there. Let's see. See, that's PFL.
All PFL except the Invicta one.
Let me see the. I don't know if you can. Open up this Aspen Ladd fight. See if it shows what weight it was at.
Yeah, it will. Once again here, I think it's 45.
If it's 45, then that's
okay.
The second time.
Okay,
she's fought. There you go. That's what I'm looking for.
Where is it?
Catch weight.
It was 50.
50
at 150. See?
I
don't think so.
Catch weight at 150.
Catch weight at 150.
So I've had some people that have reached out to me after they heard our show last week, and they said that Kayla Harrison was at the UFC PI, and she did a couple test runs at 135. Now I don't know if that meant she got to 35 or if she's
already done it, or they did a test on her to say, "Can you get there?"
Yeah, I think they did a test on her, or she did a couple test runs. That's all I was told. She did a couple test runs at the UFC Performance Institute. To see if they didn't say whether to see if she could get to 35 or to see if she could get close to 35. I didn't get the specifics, but
see, I know how they work there, and they do a great job. But what they'll do is they'll do a body analysis to say, "Hey, can you physically get to this weight?" And so if they looked and they put it all together and said, "Yeah, you can." You're going to have to lose, and they're going to give her, you're going to have to lose this much percentage of fat, this much percentage of body muscle, all these things. So she'll know exactly where she's at. But
yeah, but I mean, they could have done that shit with Roy Nelson. He should have been a 170 pounder.
Dude, Roy could have been a 185er, man.
Shit.
He didn't want to be.
Yeah.
He didn't want to be, man.
It's a very interesting conversation, but when I look at the Holly Holm fight and the Kayla Harrison fight, Holly brings something to the table that will give Kayla problems, and Kayla brings something to the table that will give Holly problems. Now let's go on beyond that fight. Does Kayla Harrison get an automatic title shot? I believe that she would. I think that would put her, that's what would give her the reason to go, because now she's making title money. You fight for the title, you'll get a little bonus in a up, and plus you get all the name recognition of being maybe for the main event. I don't know if they would do that. Against Raquel Pennington, maybe obviously a co-main event. But especially after the last fight with Raquel Pennington. So I think they're going to put them in an automatic, like co-main event situation. That happening though, you're fighting for the title, you're making championship money. And then if you win the title, you're making even more championship money. There's a clause in there. You get a bigger percentage, or you get a bigger, you get pay-per-view numbers, whatever it is. And I think
the last thing I want to say is this. Kayla, if you wanted to go there, I'm so happy for you.
Absolutely.
Congratulations. People think that I'm upset about it. It's
No.
like, what are you, nuts? Anything that makes her happy is great. I'm being honest, the way things got me. I'm worried about it.
Yeah, because look, and everyone's like, well, who's she going to fight over in PFL or Bellator? And I'm like, look, not only does she have Cyborg, she's got Arlene Blankout. She's got Sinead Kavanaugh. She's got Leah McCourt. She's got Kat Zingano. Those are names to fight, and there's some others that are in there as well that I probably just forgot off the top of my head. But those 4 or 5 fighters right there.
Sarah McMahon.
And that's exactly. I think Sarah retired.
She might have.
So, but those fighters that are there right now, that's at least another 2 years of fights at what they were willing to pay you. That's one. And 2 is you're not having to lose that extra 10 pounds. So, like I said, I believe that the Amanda fight was presented. I believe that after the Holly Holm fight, and if she does get a win, there's a title shot on the line right there.
I could see where the UFC has already had communications with Amanda, and they know she's coming back. And they said, look, this is what we'll do. Well, it's possible.
Yeah. Because what better story to sell? Your former training partner left the gym because there was potential you guys may fight, because they were in negotiations before. There was potential they may be a fight, and it makes sense. The UFC is known for trying to get their friends to fight each other. They're just known for it. So what better way to put together, a UFC 24/7, whatever, fight camp, whatever, however they do it, it makes sense for them to try to do something like that. I think it's a big name. It's a big time fight too, if you put it together.
No, absolutely a big time fight. It's one that I would definitely be looking forward to. So
absolutely.
If it was Amanda against Kayla, I'd want it to be at featherweight.
Yeah. Well, look, we're going to wrap this all up though, but the last thing we're going to say is, Kayla, as long as you're happy, which I believe you are, that's all that matters. Hey, we wish you nothing but the best, because we're big fans. And she knows that after, we kind of had said some stuff about her on the podcast a long time. She yelled at us and then came on the show. We're very thankful for that. She's amazing, man. She's so fun to chat with. She likes to take jabs at you. She dishes it and she can take it. Absolutely love being around her. Actually, just a great athlete. So go to weighingandmerch.com, pick up some of our hoodies and our sweaters and our hats and beanies and all the things that are available there. Check it out at weighingandmerch.com. Subscribe to us over at onlyfans.com/weighingin, onlyfans.com/weighingin. I will be doing a live later today at 2 p.m. Central Time. Make sure you guys don't miss it.
Don't miss it, because if you do, you're going to wish you didn't. We will see you.